Well, welcome back to Simple Truth, where we're trying to pull some truths out of the story of David. We're in 1 Samuel, we're in chapter 25. We're going to start in verse 32, talking about finishing up the story of Abigail, one of my favorite stories. And we get to verse 32. Now, Abigail has poured everything she has into her talk, right? Her monologue, her soliloquy, with David, and now it's David's turn to respond. And he says this in verse 32. David said to Abigail, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who sent you this day to meet me." I love this verse. A lot of people just read right over it. I love this. Do you recognize when God sends people to you? Do you recognize divine moments? Again, a lot of times it's on this side of it, right? Like with David, something happens, somebody says something, and we hit truth, or we get something given to us, and we're like, oh yeah, God. It's hard on the front side. Not sure that David, when he first saw Abigail, maybe because she was beautiful, he thought it, but I'm not so sure David thought that this was a godly moment. Right? He could have thought this was a woman coming to save her husband. This was a whole bunch of stuff. But after listening to her, really listening, notice David's not interrupting her train of thought. I want to stop right in the middle of all of that and pause and say, I've experienced this recently in a new way. Right? It is frustrating, super frustrating to be talking with people and to not have them listening to what you're saying. Instead of listening for comprehension, they may be nice enough to let you finish your statement, but at the end of it, they're going to say, well, I don't think so. Well, maybe not. I don't care. Or they're going to immediately argue with you. There is a difference with you and I being charged by God to seek understanding and wisdom. Are you listening to try to understand in a moment? Are you listening to see and to hear and to feel God moments? Like, this isn't the voice of David. This isn't the voice of Abigail. This is the voice of God using David or Abigail. God is speaking. So David's response here is, blessed, right, be the Lord. Blessed be the name of God, of God of Israel. David's response is understanding that God was in this moment. Are you able to do that? It starts with being able to listen for God in moments. It follows with seeing God in the moment. And sometimes those two things are reversed. Sometimes we see first and then we listen. But we can hear God and we can see God working. And then our job is to respond to God. Very few people respond to God anymore. They are responding to church. They're responding to things that they know. They're responding to what makes them feel good. They're responding to their understanding. God doesn't ask you to respond to your understanding. He asks you to respond to his understanding. That's a totally different way of thinking. And we have to look at moments and we have to decide whether in that moment we are able to discern godly things. Even the worst of conversations, God can use. Even the toughest of conversations, the ugliest of conversations, God can use. And so in this moment, David is able to recognize the voice and the actions of God. Why? Through a godly person. God is using godly people. It's the very thing that he wants to have happen with you and me today. Can you recognize the words and the actions of God through yourself, through the people around you? Right? It's so important. This verse is so key, and everybody just blows right by it. But it would make your day and my day 100 times better if we could listen, hear, understand what God is doing in any given moment rather than just reacting to the moment. David could have been appreciative here because Abigail was giving him food, giving him things, making up, stopping him from having to shed blood. He could have been grateful for all that stuff and not recognized it is a godly moment in giving credit. We all go through hard moments. We all go through hard times. But in those hard moments and in those hard times, can you see the hand of God? I want to leave it right there. And I want you to maybe do some thinking. Maybe challenge yourself to start looking at moments, those meetings you don't want to have, those invitations you don't want to have, those encounters that you don't want to have. Maybe you could see, maybe you could hear God in those moments with a little bit of an attitude adjustment. Maybe you need an Abigail in your life. Hey, you think on that, chew on it. We'll see you next time right here. Simple Truth.